Hello everyone, welcome back to the other half of the video. So this is where we left off, and now what we need to do is create a gateway struct which will hold the configuration of all the services and act as a central router. So let's create that. It would be type gateway struct, and the struct will hold a map, a key value pair, the key being the route pattern, and the configuration will be its value. So let's just call the service answer, and let's just say map string, and this will be pointer to service. So basically this will be acting like this. Let's just say our route is /users, and our value being this pointer to the service, some service. So it would be like this. Now we need to create a gateway, a function basically which return this gateway. It will initialize all the services and bind it to this gateway and return as that. So let's say config, type config, and it will return a pointer to the gateway. So let's initialize this gateway, and the service will be let's make a map type string, right, and service. This is what we meant here. Now what we need to do is we need to loop over our configuration which holds all our config, this. So for I range over our config dot services, and let's just say our current service will be of type ampersand cfg dot services and I. So now we got our service. What we need to do is parse its route pattern. So let's parse it. Let's just say target URL, target comma error, URL dot parse currents dot the service has a route. URL and service dot URL cannot index config dot services variable of type service. So config holds pointer to these. Okay. So basically we need to change this function. Now we can pass config dot URL and if error not equal to nil, return nil. So now we need to create a proxy. Mm, Proxy, let's just say current dot proxy comma error is equal to http util new single host, and we need to pass this target. Mm, So if error not equal to nil, return nil. Or does it return only one? So we need to make this. So we have attached this new proxy to our this variable, which is of type service, as we mentioned here. This this is why we provided this field, so that we can later attach this proxy to it. Let me check it. So you call it later. So this is it. And now, after attaching it, we can now push it in this gateway. So let's just say gateway, and its key would be current service dot route pattern. Is it, yeah, route pattern equals to our current service. Mm, Sorry, gateway dot service. And now we can easily return our gateway. No, the system, the for loop, and here we can return our gateway. So we have made this function where it initializes our gateway struct, makes an empty map, and it ranges over the services, getting each service and setting it to the current service. And after that, we get the URL pattern from this current service, and we pass it. And later, after passing, we give it to this HTTP new single host proxy function, which created a proxy, and we attach that proxy to this current service. And yeah, so here we create this map so that we can easily access the service based on the route, and we return this. So we need to now make a helper function which can find our service based on the route pattern. So let's just create this function. We will be attaching it to this gateway. So G gateway called find service, and it will be taking the request body as the argument HTTP request, and it will be returning pointer to our service is if found. So we can now range over for route and service, and we need to range over g dot service. After that, we can use a function in string called has prefix. We need to provide our request dot URL request dot body dot request request dot request dot path URL dot path. Yes, and we would match it with our route. We need to add the if when has prefix return our service, else if not found return nil. So this is our function which will help us to find our service if URL matches the route we have mentioned in our service. It would arrange over the gateway and find this, and if found it will return the service, else it will return nil. Create one last function to handle our gateway. Found it would be also attached to our gateway. G gateway called handle gateway, and it would take response writer, HTTP response writer, and the request body, HTTP request, and it won't return anything. First, we need to find our service. Service, if it exists for this URL, so we will be calling our function g.findService and pass r.url.path. Sorry, we need to only provide the request. So if our service is equals nil, that means we have not found our service. We can log that to our console. Log dot printf no service found for the URL r.url.path, and we can also return HTTP error passing our response writer, and this would take a string no service found for this URL, and then we need to provide our status code http.status not found. So yeah, and then we can return our. So this is in the case if we not find our service, so we can return an error, and if we find our service, we can proceed to the next steps. So we can now log dot printf forwarding the request of this path to the service r.url.path and to the service dot name, and then we can forward it like service dot proxy dot serve HTTP and pass our request and response objects respectively. So yeah, this is basically it. And after that, we can load our config. And we need to create our, so here we load our config. We need to create a new gateway, which will be new gateway, and provide our config. After that, we need to create a multiplexer, http dot new servmux, and let's attach mux dot handle. We will be giving it a route and http dot handle func and provided with gateway dot handle gateway. So this is it, and the port, and we need to create our server, http dot server, and our address will be proms config dot port, and our handler will be this multiplexer. And now we can run our server. Error server dot listen and serve. If error not equal to nil, along dot fatal f fatal error starting the server on port cfg dot port. Let's just make it fatal f. So this is it. This function has completed. This gateway implementation has completed. We can now test by making two backends, and let's just see. So before testing, we need to make some changes. Gateway.io. Please write all your these fields name starting with capital letter, or it won't pass the YAML. I found that just now, so please make it capital letters, starting with capital letters. All this, which are YAML field, they need to be capital. They need to be in uppercase. So that's that, and rest everything is same. And what we need to do also is config.yaml, make your port a string. Change it. Before it was just 8080 and integer, so make it a string with this semicolon so that it can be parsed to this port. Now let's just test our reverse proxy, and let's just say let's run it. So tmux, I'll run it in tmux. So escape C. What was the oh, it was backtick. Okay. So let's start tmux. Backtick C. Backtick C. Backtick next. Also backtick C. So let's go run. So I also created a backend 2, same as the backend 1. Let me just show you. and then back into the club. So it's basically same as the backend one. Create a new folder called backend 2. Keep it same, everything let it be same, just changes to backend 2 and change the address to 8082 so that we can actually see. And let's see our config. So when we have this route pattern product, so it should be hitting this URL 8082, which is backend 2, and dash users should be /users should be hitting 8082. So let's just quickly test it out. Go run backend2.go and go run backend1 backend1.go and go running our main gateway.go, and now testing. So let's just curl 8080 users. So it should basically hit the backend one. So yeah, as you can see, it's hitting the backend one. Hello from backend one. And let's see if we need to add some other thing, it should again hit the backend one. And for backend two, we had the product route products. It should now hit backend two. As you can see, it's hitting backend two. Oh, I need to change this, but as you can see, it's hitting backend two. Before it was hitting backend one. And let's just add something. It's still hitting backend two. And if we write some other path which is not in the service, let's just say prod pro. So 404 not found, which we made an HTTP error 404 not found. No service found for this URL. We also provided this message. So that's, we can see that. And then gateway.go. So this is, and let's just say backend 2. So this is because it was saying hello from backend 1, it should be backend 2. Now if we where are we running backend 2? If we run again backend 2, so yeah, now we call product, it should be yes backend 2, hello from backend 2. And if we query users, it should now hit backend 1. So this first part is complete. I hope you must have understood this. So in case you feel if anything I can improve, please let me know in the comments. That's just it.